Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
that one would have to get deleted.
The stuff that y'all don't hear.
That would be the new intro.
The stuff that y'all don't hear.
Wait, canceled.
Canceled in a heartbeat.
You say that.
I don't, maybe not.
Cancel. No, cancel.
Yeah, definitely cancel.
I would cancel us.
Yeah, we just come back as something else.
Yeah.
The Biker Daily.
Yeah, just
we're new
reverse it.
people.
Yeah, it's a whole new show.
Try to get my... Hey, let's just start here. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. My name is Marcus, and I am your clueless leader. Today, we're going to go on a learning journey. I have Miss Muffin.
Hey, y'all.
And I have Daniel.
Hey there. The worst part, that was in a professional setting with supposedly professionals.
So, this weekend, or as you're listening to this past weekend, in Chattanooga, was the Riverside Car Meet.
Yes.
Which is geared towards what is called the import crowd.
Which makes it, most of these car meets,
or the tuner crowd.
I think
that's
tuner
it.
crowd.
Yeah, you're either going to have like the JDM tuner guys, the Euro guys, and then the supercar guy. Like that, those are and then the classics.
So here's my problem.
Okay.
With the current tuner car world, for anybody listening to this in SoCal, where a lot of the tuner car culture started, I hope it has stayed, but unfortunately you're probably dealing with the same thing we're dealing with, where it's become, hey, look at my stance style Altima.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
So this
I
came
have a Civic with no hood.
Yeah. This came up, and we had those guys when we were younger, but we also made fun of all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Then. So this came up in conversation, asking me if I was going to go down there. Because
with your stock Jeep.
No, we'd take the bike for that one.
I'd take the bike. Because I sticker bombed my dash. It's called the dash, and for anybody that's not familiar, the dash on a Harley is the trim that goes along the top of the gas tank. Yeah. That is the dash. The reason it's called a dash is because on old Harleys,
that's where the gauges were.
That was your dash. Yeah. That was the dashboard. It's where all your lights and everything are. They've just kept that terminology, dash.
It makes sense.
Well, it's because if I say a dash, it doesn't matter what Harley I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. Because pretty much every Harley has a trim. I'd say that's why I said pretty much.
Well, actually, current production, Softail Standard, Street Bob.
I guess the new Road Glides and Street Glides don't have it.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They trim on the dash or trim on the gas tank.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while since I've been around I haven't been over to the dealership in a long time, so I haven't looked at the new bikes and I've forgotten.
So Nightster?
Yeah.
Because it's a solid shell.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Straight Bob and Lowrider, or not Lowrider, Street Bob and Softail Standard because they have smooth tanks. And a Breakout has a smooth tank. As far as I know, everything else, Pan America has a trim on the dash.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Even a Sportster S has a trim. It doesn't come all the way back, but it does have a trim.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah. So you just say dash, and
makes
that's what
sense.
you're talking about. So I recently, for those of you that have heard a million times, my side covers on my bike are sticker bombed. I recently decided to sticker bomb my dash. Now, the sticker bombing comes from my foyer into the tuner car import world because that was something that they did. They didn't sticker bomb everything. They didn't sticker bomb their windows or stuff like that. They used to sticker bomb like the lip, the little valance on the bottom of the car.
Little trim pieces.
Those types of things. Or you would get inside and they would sticker bomb like the trim around the door handles or the trim around the center console,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Because I remember like the trim on the doors, like going from the roof to the door.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Some
and
cars
that
would have
be it.
like the
That would be
black
it,
trim.
yeah.
It wasn't
Yes.
color matched. They would
Correct.
just do that. Yes.
Yeah.
So enough.
Basically, if it was black and plastic on
yeah,
the car,
black plastic.
Yeah, it got
it,
sticker
it
they
would
would.
get sticker bomb.
Yeah.
The
and-
windshield wipers. I've seen it.
And it
I've
happened.
actually seen that, too.
It happened enough to the point of where there were certain companies that you could get basically vinyl wrap. It was like rolls of sticker sheets that you didn't peel the stickers off of. You just wrapped it so it looks like it was a sticker bomb.
Which
It got
I feel
so
like it's
popular
cheating.
for that.
I feel
That
like
is
that's
cheating.
cheating.
But some
Yes.
of those companies that did that were companies that people were getting stickers from.
True. True.
So, but anyway, so that became a thing, and that has stuck with me.
yeah.
Now these idiots put stickers across the middle of their windshield, and I worry about them.
Well, you mean you don't like locally hated?
You are 100% correct. I do hate you.
Because that is just in giant.
When I
across
see
the-
someone with a locally hated, I'm like, you're correct. Everyone here hates you, but it's because you put a giant sticker across your windshield that says locally
Right.
hated.
I'm gonna put one on the back of the Volkswagen that says "Got Milk."
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So, anyways, so I was asked because of people know, and old school car guys see it and go, "You into cars?" Like when they see the bike and stuff, they'll start asking questions. And it spurs conversation and stuff. So the conversation comes out about sometimes, and some of the younger crowd goes, "Oh, I didn't know." The old guys go, "Well, he does have sticker bombing going on."
You also have to remember that the younger crowd now was born in like 2010.
Yeah, they weren't around.
True.
They weren't alive for 9/11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They were born in 2010 to 2015.
Well, I'm talking about even some of the guys that are down there
Yeah,
that are driving cars and renting hotel rooms. They're Ian's
Yeah.
age.
I mean,
They're
yeah,
26, 25, 26. They were born in 2000.
They are. Yeah.
Because someone born in 2000 is 26 years old this year.
yeah.
God,
That math is pretty easy.
Am I that old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I said
Think
no.
about how old he is.
I said no. I don't want to go down there and just look at a bunch of stanced cars. Now, I have heard there are some cool cars
Because I
down there
mentioned
this
about
year.
going down there.
Yeah,
And that's
and
fun.
for someone that saw the invention of the wheel, it's pretty cool
I
to
mean,
go to.
Correct. So now my point was proven at the gas station on the way over here.
Like at our gas station,
At
Yeah.
our gas station
on our roundabout,
on our roundabout.
which is nowhere near where
No.
anybody would
No.
ever need to go.
no. So we pull in.
But that actually makes sense because I've heard cars all day.
So we pull in, and there's a bunch of yee Euro boys.
Yeah.
Now, one of these, I'm not sure how street legal the car was. I mean, it was a Lexan full roll caged, like mid 90s 3 Series.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
That, yes.
I couldn't get behind how it sounded, though.
Oh,
It sounded
Yeah.
horrible.
It sounded horrible. It was not
Yeah.
built right. So, but like,
because those inline, was it a 6 or was it a 4?
I don't know.
If it sounds bad, a lot of
It
those.
sounded like he had cut the exhaust right before right after the downpipe.
Because I've seen what a lot of guys do with those late 80s, early 90s
Yeah.
BMWs, like the E30s, E36s.
Yeah.
They did make those in 4 cylinders. And people will buy those because nobody wants them.
Well,
And then they fix them up
the-
and then they do this
the
crap.
only
Right.
cool one in that Euro group
Yeah.
was for the most part, stock 3 Series,
Okay.
about like a 2005 model
Driven by a realtor.
that had no, they were in the group.
Oh, okay.
It was probably bought new by
This
his
was
realtor
actually
mother.
someone that just happened to stop at the gas
Right.
No,
station.
it's probably bought new by the realtor mother,
Probably.
but it had like the 1.5 inch drop on it.
That's where, because
Okay.
I've done that on
Yeah,
my
not the big
Z4.
drop,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the little 1.5 inch sport drop
Yep.
with like the front lip,
Okay.
like some actual like BBS, but they weren't the BBS Snowflake. That it was like a BBS like 9-star, but it was
Okay.
an actual like BBS.
Silver or gold, black.
No, like gunmetal blue color.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That blue that they did?
Yeah.
It's almost like a bluish gray color.
I'm okay with it. It wouldn't be my preference.
Yeah.
For the most part, the car was stock. It drove away and I never heard it. So I'm assuming it had stock exhaust on it.
Which, honestly, for a lot of cars, leave the stock exhaust
It's
on.
fine.
With a full roof rack on it.
I'm down with
And
that.
the wind panel that I'm sure probably had stickers on it.
100% down
Like
with
that was like, okay, that's a dope Euro
That
car.
was the better one of the group.
Like a early 2000s 330
Like
i.
he probably hasn't done anything to the car. That was his dad was driving it as the spare and gave it to him.
That's exactly what happened. It's
Yeah.
like, well, son, you're going to high school now. You need a car.
You need a car.
Yeah. And the thing is if you meet younger, if you are younger, if you're in the group we're talking about, and you want to meet car people, I'm not even saying go to motorcycle shops. Go to like where people ride mountain bikes on Saturdays.
Yeah.
You're gonna meet a lot of car people.
Or go to Volvo meets.
Or go to Volvo meets.
Because
Yeah.
the Volvo guys don't show up to these
No.
type of meets.
No, they don't.
We go to IKEA down in Atlanta.
So when I pulled up,
No, that's where we had all the meets.
there
That's
was
funny.
like 6 BMWs in the parking lot.
Makes sense.
Okay. So I go inside, get a couple of drinks and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And as I'm sitting there, a real car that should stop everything and those people should run to talk to him pulls in the parking lot.
It stopped me. I went, oh, shit.
And nobody batted an eye at him. I'm the only one that stopped to talk to the guy. Now,
It's a Pinto.
I made sure Heather understood. The guy was probably about 55 years old. Okay. Dressed like a Corvette owner. Okay. Because
He
it's
was,
a
yeah.
55-year-old guy.
Was it a Corvette?
No, it was not.
No,
So let's
I wouldn't have
clarify.
cared about that.
At kind of like the big birth of where it went worldwide
A white
or
Ford Bronco.
nationwide for this car culture was about the mid 90s. It was in SoCal before that, but like I can tell you it was here in the mid 90s. So it had made its way across the country. That's when automotive manufacturers were in this import sport war that was going on. That's when the Mark V Supra was hot. That's when the VR4 3000 GT was one of the baddest cars you could get.
Yep.
That's when the Scirocco was heavily underestimated at whooping people's asses.
Yeah.
And that is also when the Honda NSX was the king dingaling.
Yeah.
A
There was an NSX.
almost
Yeah.
showroom condition
It was mint.
red one.
Was it black or orange?
It was red with a black roof.
Okay, I don't.
Pulled in.
I know.
down
I know
there.
2 people that own them around town.
Yeah.
It's a black and an orange one.
I
So-
almost bought an orange one.
So this guy pulled in down there, and none of those kids even looked at him. So
That makes me sad.
I stopped to talk to him.
yeah, absolutely.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Dude, your car is beautiful." He's like, "Thank you." I go, "Have you had it a long time?" He goes, "Yeah, I got it in 2003." I was like, "Well, it's gorgeous, man." I was like,
Which is amazing to think that he paid basically nothing for that car.
"He paid
Right.
$28,000 for it."
Which is
Which is
basically
yeah.
nothing.
He paid $28,000 for it. It is a '96 model.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, it's a '91 model. So it's one of the very first year ones. So, but either way, yeah, 91 through
I mean-
98 or 99
Yeah.
is one. They virtually didn't change, just a little minor like tweaks and
Because
suspension.
they only made
and,
it up until like
and trim
04 or something like that, right?
and then it changed over. I think it might have been 2003,
okay.
but then it changed over.
because
Yes.
I know it was 2005 or newer
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
older that they stopped making it.
So, I'm talking to the guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The paint's all original. It's got racing suspension on it. It's got a Honda Race Tech transmission in it because the original transmission went out in it.
Okay.
It's got 220,000 miles on it.
Well, I mean, it is a
mean,
Honda.
It's
Yeah.
got a set of 5 stars on it that looked similar, but were not, but looked similar to the Type R wheel.
yeah.
And it was just, I mean, it was
See,
nice.
That I believe that is a tastefully modified car, and it's a Honda.
Yeah.
You can just drive it, and that's honestly why they didn't really sell very well.
It's also got about 10,000 worth of track miles on it too.
well,
He
Even
tracks
better.
it too.
Yeah.
But I was talking to the guy and I said, these kids aren't even paying attention to you. He goes, I know. I go, I bet if you went to Riverside, they wouldn't care. He goes, actually, I just left Riverside. And I was like, how was that? And he goes, 5 people asked me about my car.
That makes me sad, but
5.
Not surprised.
When was the last time you saw an NSX just driving down the road?
You don't
It's been a couple
around
years.
here.
Like, I would assume for most people on the podcast, unless your neighbor has one,
Yeah.
you don't see one all the time.
No.
Legitimately, the only reason that I've seen them is because I knew 2 people that had one.
Yeah.
Right.
In the Chattanooga area, and I was in one of
When I was in high school, I
one was
used to
black
see
and
one.
one
Yeah.
was that copper color. That
Oh,
they
yeah,
came
When I
out.
was in high school, I used to see one a bunch because one of the kids, his dad had one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
like that's the
Yeah.
way that you see one.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you don't
But
see
you
them.
never see them.
So 5 people asked him about his car. Last night, he went down there in his Volkswagen thing, and he got swarmed.
Well, I do love a thing.
Don't get me wrong. A thing is a cool car. That
Yeah,
Riverside
Yeah.
car meet
yeah,
towards the tuner crowd.
yes.
A Volkswagen thing
Or
versus
an
NSX.
I'm kind of baffled on that one
Yeah.
because if you go to like a Volkswagen meetup and
Yeah.
you pull up with a thing,
Yeah.
absolutely, like 100%.
Well, here's the thing, and this is geared towards a younger crowd. He goes to, I'm guessing this is guy's local. I didn't ask him.
Yeah.
He just, but some of the things he said made me think that he was local.
Okay.
He also came from this direction when he pulled up to the gas station. So
He might live. There's a couple big neighborhoods that are out.
Yeah, he
over
might
here.
live over here.
So he said, well, and he wasn't getting gas. He was going into the gas station to get something.
Yeah, so he definitely lives over
Yeah.
here. Now,
Yeah.
I've never seen that one.
So all those other kids were getting fuel. So, which would make sense. For people traveling through, because we have 87, 89, and 93
Non-ethanol.
non-ethanol at those pumps.
I wouldn't be surprised if we hear them come by at some point.
Well, they had left. By the time I left the gas station, they'd already left.
Okay.
So the crowd, the kids, they're looking at him.
Well, he's
They're not looking at his car.
He's an old fart.
Right. But I posed this question to Heather when we left. The guy's probably about 55.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said looks like a Corvette owner.
Looks like
Yeah,
a
he
Corvette
did.
owner.
That is a style.
But that's age appropriate.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
55. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's go back to when that culture was huge across America 30 years ago, 1996.
Yeah, he was in his 20s.
Yeah.
He was 25 years old.
Yeah.
He was the target market.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He was the start of this.
Oh, for sure.
I tell people that I meet now that are in their 20s and they start talking about that, I'm like, go on YouTube and look up Craig Lieberman
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because he's like 55
Yeah.
and he owned half of those cars that were in the Fast and Furious franchise.
Yep.
Because like when people talk about, oh, well, Nope Nights, 1996, buddy, that's 30 years ago. If someone that was 30 and in the game at that point in time,
They're getting ready for
60.
retirement.
Like you get what I'm saying.
I know exactly what you're
You
talking
take
about.
someone, and I would even push the limit as the old guy in the group at that point in time at 35. Okay. Oh, he's the old man, because we always heard when I was around that market, I heard those jokes. Oh, he's the old man at 32 years old. Someone at 32 years old is about to start drawing Social Security.
Yeah. Now. Yeah.
My rant has been made. I told
and
Daniel.
it's true. It's
I want
true.
to say
Yeah,
this.
it's
As soon as I
true.
showed up to Daniel's house, I go, I have a rant, but I'm going to save it for the podcast.
Well, and it's true. You know, fads and things change over time.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
sound like the old man going, respect your elders.
Well, you kind of
Okay.
are. You kind of are saying that.
But their whole world
Yeah.
hinges on the birth of tuner car culture.
But it's
Import tuner car culture. We'll keep that clear. Because you could say tuner car culture is technically back to like the 60s.
Yeah. But see, I think the difference is, and it might be like a me and you and Heather difference. We understand where things started.
I think it's
And
a respect. I think it's a respect thing.
Yes.
They don't understand the respect.
Yeah.
Because it's like for me and you, okay? We go somewhere and someone has a 1909 Harley Davidson. We stop everything we're doing and go up and talk to the guy and look at the bike and everything else because
Marcus,
it's the birth of this civilization that we live in.
If someone drives up in a 1909 anything,
I'm
going
to look at
curious
it.
and
Yeah.
ask questions.
I'm going to go up to
I
it.
don't know.
Yeah.
No, we would go up to
Yeah.
it.
I'm playing, first of all.
Yeah,
And second of all, I literally have had my greasy paws all over vintage cars because I used to do upholstery at a car shop.
Oh, yeah.
That we worked on modern stuff, but we also did for anybody in the custom car world, vintage custom car world. They know Coker Tire.
Yeah.
Coker Tire is here in Chattanooga. Harold Coker, the founder of Coker Tire, was one of our regular clients at the upholstery shop.
Oh, the Vintage Festival
that,
down at
Honest
Barber.
Charlie's.
So, but that's what I was going to say. That guy
Yeah.
told me when he goes to the Coker Cruise In,
Yeah.
he gets more attention.
I believe it.
Yeah, because it's a different type of.
Well,
But it's because he's around all those guys that are his age.
Yeah, it's an older crowd.
It's an older crowd. Yes.
They are his age and were marketed that same car, and maybe they never got one.
Yeah.
Maybe now that they're older, they're getting close to retirement, they got a little bit of money. Maybe they bought a Cobra replica or something like that. Because it's a hell of a lot easier to find a Cobra replica than it is an NSX.
Which I'm going to be honest,
Yeah.
I do want a Cobra replica. I would love like
Yeah.
a
But you see what I'm
factory
saying?
5.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
Me
I think
too.
that's why he goes, I can drive the thing down there.
Yeah.
And there's people that are like, oh man, that's a cool car. But if I drive the NSX down there, I get swarmed. But I think it's because you're talking about people that understand respect.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not demanding for me anything. I'm not demanding that these kids see my sticker bomb and go, oh, that's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from old town, like culture when it comes to that type of stuff. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is when you see certain vehicles, you need to understand. I don't like stanced cars, but
No.
a couple years ago, I went down to Riverside and there was a guy that had a R8 that was stanced and it was done right. No, it wasn't bowlegging.
Oh, really?
It was just super. It was on air
Okay.
down.
It wasn't.
It
Bad.
wasn't cambered. And I was like, that is a nice
Yeah.
car. And there was he had a buddy of him with him that had like a late 80s Ferrari that was done the same way.
Okay. I can get behind that. Now the guys that are static
Oh,
running the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I'm amazed that you have an oil pan left at this point.
Yeah.
Like
But-
your exhaust is sheared off at the
but
bottom.
it's
I'm
like-
amazed at a lot.
It's like
of
when
stuff
you
with-
watch Rutledge Woods and you're like, this dude is the goofiest dude in the world. But understand, he knows that stuff through and through.
Yeah.
It's like for us, Top Gear.
Yeah.
Dude,
Absolutely.
they're all in their 60s.
Yes. Exactly.
But they are the king when it comes to television presentation of automobiles.
well, and I can
But these kids now, what I'm saying is they're not taught to respect that stuff.
well, and I can say I've experienced this in a certain way. Like if I bring the KZ out somewhere or the ZRX for that
Yeah.
matter, the KZ certainly, I go out and you have a bunch of guys that they may have been getting into motorcycles in the
Yeah.
70s. They know what the KZ is and what it meant for motorcycling. Because that was, if you wanted a fast motorcycle, you bought a 1000 or a 900
yeah.
in the 70s. And they were teenagers then, or,
Yeah.
early 20s, whatever. But if I bring it around to like a sport bike meetup, they're going to look at me like, what the hell is this old piece of crap doing out here?
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
And then
they shouldn't, but-
I bring the ZRX out there. Oh man, Eddie Lawson, like people know who Eddie Lawson is.
Yeah.
Man, that's the ELR color scheme.
Well,
Now it's just a green motorcycle.
I find
Yeah, it's sad, but yeah.
Yeah.
I find that happening a lot.
But I mean, all this was well before my time. And
Yeah.
sort of before yours.
I find that happening a lot, though, starting to happen more and more often in motorcycle culture, though.
Mm-hmm. You see stanced bikes? Just
No.
cambered out
Just
rear
cambered
wheel.
out.
No,
Yes.
not that. But
That I would like to say, actually.
like recently I was talking to someone that's in their early 20s.
Okay. Why?
And I have to from time to time.
It happens.
And I was talking about a lot of the people that are currently buying cruisers or have bought cruisers in the past, 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
A good majority of those guys, like we look at the guy that's wearing the shorts and the turtle shell that's way too heavy or way too big for his head and all that other stuff riding the road, and we're like, look at this idiot. But that
Why are
idiot
you
at
talking
the-
about Bill like that?
But that
I'm not
idiot.
Brought him in.
No, I'm not
That
talking
was
about.
a personal
I'm not talking
attack.
about that. I'm not talking about that. Let me finish.
Bless it.
I'm talking about the guys that are our age.
Yes.
Okay. And we see them and we're like, look at this idiot. But that same idiot 15 years ago
Was still an idiot.
might have been in full leathers and everything else riding track bikes. They hit a
Maybe.
point in time. No. I encounter this a lot. You would not believe how many people I meet that come to the club style event,
Yeah.
that they were all sport bike guys.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get that.
Yeah.
So, but people look at them. Some of these younger kids look at them with their sport bikes now, and they go, "Well, these guys just don't know anything."
I think part of it though is the attitude of the older people
Well,
that are doing this.
I mean,
so
Yeah.
I'm not saying all the blame is on one side or the
well,
other.
one of the people I was talking to recently,
The-
they were
the
and they were
20-year-old.
they were like, well, "What do you really know about sport bikes?" I was like, "You don't want to challenge me on this subject." They go, "What was your last cool sport bike you had?" I go, "RC51," and they go, "What the hell is that?"
oh, Lord.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I said, "This conversation is done until you learn what an RC51 is."
I've got an even cooler sport bike, KTM 390 Duke.
390 Duke, man.
But that was the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
You're talking about something that was pivotal and changed the world of sport bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was major.
I mean, that was Honda's attempt to go after Ducati.
Oh, what an attempt.
Well, you know
It
what I
was-
mean.
Yeah.
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 Like that was like a Honda coming out here fighting with Suzuki, the TLR,
Yeah.
and they put a race bike out there with a V-twin engine.
And
And they
sold it to the public.
exactly exactly. So it was a momentous time in motorcycling for Honda bring out the RC51.
Well, and I think that's the thing. So with the car culture, it happened with the tuner import culture. It really happened kind of in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
When a lot of this stuff was going on in the United States. For anybody listening to this in Europe, it was in the 80s and you got the Class B cars and we didn't get to enjoy that stuff.
Correct.
So shut up.
I mean, for
We
motorcycle,
don't have Stellantis in the United States, or not Stellantis.
we do have Stellantis.
Yeah, we do have that.
What am I thinking?
Lancia.
Lancia.
Lancia. Yeah.
We didn't have the Lancia.
We didn't have the Stratos.
the
or the
Stratos was
Yeah.
the Delta Integrale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
or
we
the
didn't.
I would love
or the
Delta.
Ford RS 200.
No, we didn't. We
No.
didn't. We get
We We just
We
within
don't
the
get the
past
good
5
stuff.
years got an all-wheel drive Ford Focus.
We don't even get station wagons anymore.
No,
That baffles me.
but that movement, I think, really shifted into motorcycles in early 2000.
Yeah, well, I mean, you think about the late 90s, and that was the speed wars between the Japanese, the big four.
Yep,
You know, you had the Hayabusa, you had the Honda Blackbird.
yep.
Yamaha really didn't ever enter that. Kawasaki had the
Well,
ZX.
but the thing
not
is,
the ZX.
Yamaha at that point
whatever
in
it was.
time, realistically, it was like BMW now. The R1 was one of the baddest bikes you could get.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, but even back then, you had the actual R7.
Yes, the real R7.
Yeah, and the Ninja 750.
Yeah. The GPZ bikes of
Yeah.
the 90s.
Yeah.
And, you were talking about 1,000, 900, 750, 900, 1,000, 1,100, 1,200. And they were all just bigger, bigger, bigger. And then you get the, ZX14 out of that now. The Hayabusa, which is like 400 years old now. It's almost as old as the XR650.
Yeah.
Honda doesn't really do a big bore bike anymore, a big bore sport bike.
Well, sport touring. The VFR.
Yeah, but not like they did the Blackbird.
No.
The CBXXX X
X.
R X. Kawasaki.
I think it was the CB1100 or CBR 1100 XX.
Yeah,
is what the Blackbird was.
Does Kawasaki still make the ZX14?
As far as I know,
I think
I thought so.
I know
they quit the Concourse.
They did.
But I think they
quit
still make
the Concourse,
the ZX14.
but yeah.
But I think they make like a ZX14 and then a ZX14T.
No.
Well, no. So they have like, I think they have a ZX14 that you can get that has a little bit taller riser.
Yes,
and bags on it.
They don't sell it in the United States.
Of course not.
Well, of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah, because
But that's that ZX14T or whatever that I'm talking about.
because they make a Ninja H2 SX.
Is that the naked?
No, that's the sport touring version.
Oh, yeah.
We got them for like 1 year here, but they still sell them.
You mean 1 week?
Yeah, basically. So you can still get the R and the regular H2,
Yeah,
but the SX never really sold in the United States.
yeah.
Which kind of baffled me
I don't feel like there's
that they got rid of the Concourse for that.
I don't feel like there's as much of
Hyper touring.
war going on anymore with the sport bikes.
No. Well, most of the Japanese brands, they've kind of given up on most of their sport bikes. Like no one's making a 600 class anymore.
Well,
4-cylinder 600 class.
okay.
It, like that, even the 750s are now kind of starting to fade. You have the R7.
Yeah.
Most they're kind of going away from it.
Yeah.
The hardcore sport bikes.
Yeah.
Now, pretty much everybody makes a 1000.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
BMW, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, they all make 1000s.
Yeah.
Everything else underneath that, they've kind of sort of done away with.
Except for the small displacements.
Yes.
Everybody's doing small displacements.
Everybody got rid of their like 500 to 800 cc bikes.
They're going to 300.
You have the Ninja 400 and the CBR 300.
Yeah.
KTM 390.
Yeah.
The Yamaha R3.
Yeah.
Suzuki doing?
They have a 300, I believe.
I know they have. I think they came back with a GSX 500, but I'm not sure about like a 300 or 400.
I thought they had.
I thought they had a 300.
Yeah,
They
they might still have a 250 for all I know. It's Suzuki.
A GSXR 300.
Well,
Now,
but see, honestly,
in that world,
that's perfect.
It's Kawasaki
Yeah,
with the one that costs twice as much as the rest of them with
the RR, the 400 RR.
Yeah, the ZX 400 RR.
But that's a 4-cylinder 400 made specifically for track riding. Because what's it?
But it is street legal.
It is street legal. It's got like a 14,000 RPM red line.
Yeah. Now
Honda
did that in the early 2000s.
They did.
They sold the 250 RR.
Yes.
yeah.
And it was like $28,000.
Yep.
And it had like a 21,000 RPM red line.
Which is, I mean, you're talking about like that's a Moto GP bike.
Yeah.
Not like a Moto GP, but like they have smaller displacement.
Junior Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Junior Cup racing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. I think, I think the biggest takeaway on that for anybody listening is
know where you came from.
Yeah, have a little respect for where you came from.
I mean, I get it.
I can 100% agree with that.
Like if you're going to be in any hobby,
know about the hobby.
Know about the hobby. Know about the
cult-
history of
I
the
said
hobby.
Know the culture where it came from.
Well, and that's not saying you need to know every single aspect of it. Like, I know nothing about lowriders.
Like, if you got into
Right.
tennis 5 years ago and you have no idea who Greg Louganis is, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I think the only two hobbies where the fans really pay attention to the history. 3 hobbies.
Chess.
3 hobbies. Nope.
Yes.
Baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah, sports.
Sports, yes.
Well, those sports.
Yes.
the 3
racing
main
is
ones.
sports.
Yes, racing is
Racing
sports.
is a sport.
Yeah.
I do agree with you.
But like I've talked to, like, the reason I say that is because NASCAR is racing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have talked to NASCAR fans, huge NASCAR fans, watch every single race, and have no idea who Smokey Unick is. And I'm like, you need to go back and understand.
See,
your sport.
I'm not a NASCAR fan. I've never really cared for NASCAR.
Same,
It doesn't
yeah.
really do anything. But I know who Smokey Unick is.
So like, and I'm not a big NASCAR fan either, but I know who Smokey Unick is. But like, that's the thing. Like, I'm sure, even with those 3, I'll add golf into there.
Yeah.
Because I
You
guarantee
can,
you,
yeah.
if I go to local
Wait, you
high
mean
school,
Arnold Palmer's not just a drink?
not just that, I
Right?
guarantee you, if I go to the local high school golf team and I say Payne Stewart, I bet you they know who Payne Stewart is.
Yeah.
And those kids that are playing golf for the local high school
Probably. Yeah.
were all born after Payne Stewart died.
Yeah. Most likely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So like Arnold Palmer is around,
That
But-
is true.
but also known. And it's the
Yeah.
same thing with John
Yeah,
Daly.
John Daly, yeah.
Well, he makes himself known.
Yeah.
Oh,
Same
yeah.
with Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
He's in the news a lot.
Yeah.
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 But like,
Poor Range Rover.
Right.
those kids that are really, really big into golf, they're trying to make essentially that their career.
Mm-hmm.
They pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, like I said, with football.
Yeah.
Like,
learn-
I know nothing about football.
They learn
Like,
the culture of it.
I don't
yes.
either.
Yeah.
I do. It's
I know
fine.
Wilt Chamberlain was a basketball
It's
player.
fine.
That could be correct. I don't know.
Wilt Chamberlain was a basketball player, and he said he slept with like 30,000 women.
Is he friends with Gene Simmons?
Oh,
They probably were together some of those times.
that's a disgusting.
Did you ever look?
No, I've
hang
heard
on.
of that, but I was like, is that real?
Hang on.
Is that
Let's-
true?
Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Real
Is
quick.
it true?
This- when you look up the Carfax on your car or motorcycle, how many previous owners has it had?
Previous owners.
How many women
Oh, this thing's been
did
passed
Wilt
around.
Passed around a lot.
sleep with? Oh, that's the number 1 Google search.
Of course it is.
In 1991 book, A View from Above, a basketball legend, Wilt Chamberlain claimed to have slept with over 20,000 women in his lifetime.
Ew.
This figure, which averaged of 1.3 women per day from age
Who is the
15
.3?
until
Is there
the book's release.
Are we at 0.3? What is
You're not even a whole woman anymore.
apparently not. I'm just a 0.3.
So this claim, while often debated, the 20,000 number was supposedly calculated by a friend based on a 10-day period during Wilt Chamberlain recorded 23 sexual encounters.
You know,
This
that's actually kind of disappointing because there are 24 hours in a day.
well,
Well, it was in a 10-day period.
yeah. This podcast took a wrong turn.
So, anyways, back to like what we were saying. If you're going to be a part of a hobby,
Know the hobby.
know the hobby and respect where the hobby started.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
completely
I
agree
agree.
with that.
Like, because what they're doing is they're killing the hobby when they're not respecting it, because the older generation
Don't want to associate with them.
don't want to be part of
Yeah.
that hobby anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
sure.
mean, and that's where you find these groups of people that get together that that are part of that older generation, and they hang out separate from the young
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
do.
And this is where that big divide comes. And we can look at Harley in this. There is a very large divide between the older people. I'm going to say
Yes.
50 plus that ride Harleys and 50 down.
But
There is.
here's the difference.
There's
with,
a couple people like me and
Yeah.
you are the in between people.
well,
and I don't
here's the
ride a Harley.
difference.
Right,
Here's the
but
difference,
still.
I think, with Harley Davidson or With, yeah, we'll say with Harley Davidson, because it's not so much in the sport bike world, because people kind of age out of the sport bike stuff.
They do and they don't.
Well, it gets harder and harder
Some-
for some
some
people
do, some
physically
don't,
to
yeah.
ride sport
Yeah.
bikes.
But then again, I've seen 80-year-old track day riders.
True.
Well, I'm
So,
talking
I
about
mean,
for some people,
Yeah.
physically, they get to the point where they can't.
Correct. Yeah.
With the Harley riders, they tend to demand respect from the older generation.
Yeah.
Well, no, I do that.
I
The guys that come in that are 65 years old and they're like, well, what do you know about riding a motorcycle? Well, what do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to act like I don't ride. You got half as many miles on your motorcycle as I do.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's and I think
That's what I mean by demanding respect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That attitude from them is the reason why a lot
Yeah.
of young people don't want to talk to them.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I know that's not necessarily the case with the NSX
But, like,
guy.
We'll
But-
pay them respect.
Yeah. Like, look,
But
you've
we
been riding.
also
You're older than
want
I am. You've been riding for
respect.
longer, but
And, like, that's the thing about it. It's not that, they have a culture and that's their thing. That's great.
yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't like it. But I don't just walk up to them and go, what's all your little cars? That's stupid. Da, 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 da. I don't do that.
Yeah. But I think that the thing, the
Unless
point,
you're locally hated. And then, yes.
yeah,
Well,
then I don't want to
it's-
know your opinion.
right.
Because we locally hate you.
Yeah.
But I think the thing to take away from that, like, just because we don't necessarily agree with a lot of the older Harley riders or older riders in general,
Yeah.
we're just using Harley as an example here, doesn't mean that we don't understand why they are the way that they are. Because that was what they grew up in. They saw the stuff from the 60s, 70s, that era.
Right.
Okay. It's changing.
Yeah.
Times change.
Things change.
Just like these kids that were at the gas station, the times have changed to where they're at,
Yeah.
but they don't acknowledge that there was a history.
Right.
True, yeah.
Well, it's like, I was speaking to someone once before and they were talking. They had just had a customer come through. And this customer was probably close to 70. And I said something about being in the military or whatever. Now, they didn't have anything that said that they were in the military or something like that. And I asked, and they weren't. But after the fact, they were like, well, why don't you want to know if he's in the military? I said, because in that age group, odds are pretty high that they
That was,
Yeah.
I mean,
served in the
that was
military.
Vietnam.
Like, odds are extremely
Yeah, there's
high
a good
they
chance.
served in the military.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And those odds increase even more when you get into the motorcycle community,
Yeah.
because a lot of those
True.
guys came back from war and bought motorcycles.
Well, yeah, they had a lot of pent up money.
Yeah.
But
Now,
also, a
lot of
motorcycle was like $2,000.
a lot of
Yeah.
those guys in the military now take their bonus check and buy Hellcats.
And on that bombshell.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.